2006 on an 06 Porsche 911 Carrera 4 Cabriolet. So that's your 997, 3.6, four-wheel drive with a manual gearbox, convertible. 997 I think is the best looking of the 911 cabs. It doesn't have that big lump at the back when the roof's down. But it's a really good looking car. Black on black on black, black roof, black bodywork, black interior. Before we get any further into it, it is worth pointing out, we will put some details of it in the description. The vendor has, within the last 1,800 miles, I think, and again, we'll put that specifically on the description, had the car inspected for bore score, and there is a tiny amount of bore score on cylinder 6. Reputable Porsche specialist up here, it's who everyone tends to send their cars to. There is zero symptoms of bore score, so the oil pressure is perfect. It's not, as you can see, suiting up the tailpipes. We haven't cleaned them at all. It doesn't puff smoke on startup when it's hot or cold, which we'll show you as well. It's not pooling oil in the cap or any soot in the cap or anything like that. And there's no loss of performance. Porsche specialist's recommendation is just keep driving the car. Why wouldn't you? It's going to need to fix it properly, an engine rebuild at some point, which is an easily doable thing on these things nowadays. Bore score is a relatively common problem. So there's a lot of specialists that can do that with their eyes shut now. So it's going to need that at some point, so why wouldn't you just keep driving it? Right, so with that out of the way, and again, check the description, we'll detail that in full detail. And I will show you on cold start, there's no smoke. We'll start on the bodywork. Really lovely, clean and tidy car. I'm just going to double check the mileage because the mileage is super low as well. 44,573 miles, and the condition of the bodywork reflects that. Look down that side, lovely and straight all the way down there. It's not full of ripples or dents. Driver's front wing, we've got 2 stone chips, which have been touched in there at some point. But other than that, lovely and clean all the way around. It's on the original 5-spoke, 18-inch alloy wheels, obviously staggered fitment for the rear wider arches. And I believe we've got matching Toyo proxies all around, but we will double check. So definitely on this front and this on this rear, but we'll check, like I say. No real stone chips or anything down the bottom there. Lovely and clean coming down the rest of the arch. There is one little bird pea mark just there, that does look like it would polish out quite easily. The rest of the sill is lovely and neat. No marks to whinge about on that driver's door or around the wing mirror. Up the A-pillar is nice and tidy. There's no delamination down the bottom of the screen, which is quite common. And then rear quarter. And we've had a little, actually it's gone from very cold to very hot in here today. So as you can see, it's quite steamy. So ignore that. Nice and neat where it all kicks out. You can see where I've left the fingerprints there. It's really steamy, like I say. Normally you get stone chips causing rust down here, but this one, as you can see, is lovely and neat all the way around that arch. Another good wheel. Calipers are lovely and clean as well, as are the discs and the hubs behind them. Another good Toyo proxy tyre. We'll have a look at the hood while we're here as well. It's just been down. It's actually been down since yesterday, so you've got a little bit of a crease there. That'll go with it, staying up, but there's no signs of any wear at all on that. Really very, very good. Rear screen is lovely. With them being frameless windows, they can quite often get a lot of ingrained scratching, but these ones are all neat and tidy. Round on the back, tail lamps on both sides are lovely and neat. Amazingly, the C of the Carrera isn't cracked. Rear bumper is nice and tidy, and again, back to that bore score thing, one of the things I did check is when we cleaned the car, there was no sooty residue or anything on that back bumper. Nice and tidy all the way across that rear bumper. In the slats for the spoiler, they're all good. Quite often you can get some hazing on those, but that's nice and neat, as is the deck lid itself. Round on the passenger side, nice and straight down there. It does have a couple of tiny little blemishes in the paint on that rear arch, but you do have to get right on top of it to see it. Inside the arch itself is lovely and neat all the way around. There's no corrosion coming through down the bottom. Another good wheel, brake caliper and Toyo Proxy T1 Sport tyre. Glass on this side is lovely and clear as well. It is a bit misty, like I say. It's come from -4 to 11 in about 10 hours here. It's global warming for you. Nice and neat all the way along that sill. No real marks to notice on the passenger door, around the wing mirror or up the A-pillar. There's no stone chips on that windscreen header either. Nice and tidy. Down the front wing, clean all the way around that arch. There is the odd little, let's say, blemish in the front wing itself, but you do have to get right on top of it to see it. And another good wheel tyre and Toyo Proxy tyre. Headlamps, and probably the cleanest I've ever seen on a 997. They are lovely. Badge is good, there's no delamination on that. Lower half, again, these can quite easily fog up and go horrible, but they're very good. One or two very minor stone chips, but generally very, very good, as is the rest of the bonnet. Moving on to the interior, like I say, triple black, so black interior. Nice and neat on the door cards. It's got the Bose audio upgrade. These can quite often wear thin, but these ones are nice, as is the armrest. And again, on this Era 996, 997, and Boxster as well, to be fair, these bolsters are huge, so they do wear really badly, whereas this one is really very, very good, but you would expect that for the miles. Most of the leather is still satin, it's not over shiny from use. We'll pop the front and the back while we're here. I say 44,573 miles. Nice and neat. All the way around the steering wheel, across the dash top, and down the centre console, where we do have the larger entertainment unit. Like I say, manual gearbox in this one as well. Nothing to whinge about on the backs of the seats or on the rear seats themselves. Come back to this later on for engine startup, but as you can see, it's really clean in here. Really very, very clean. Underside of the boot lid is very good. It's not dropping any fluids on the floor. Passenger side again, nice and tight down here. No wear on any of the switchgear, which can quite often happen in the centre as well, but that's all good. Passenger seat is lovely and neat. Carpet sets nice and dark. That side of the dash is good. Door shuts are lovely. And then in the front, the thing I like to check in here is, are all the plastics in place and are all the screws in place? And in this one, as you'd expect, this car's obviously been well looked after. Everything's where it should be. All very good. Nice and neat on the underside of the bonnet. Now, to start it, we're going to get in the car, clutch in, but I'm going to point the camera out the back so you can see for any puffs of smoke. Let's see if we can do this without dropping the camera. Having the key in the ignition tends to help. Straight away, idling as it should. Oil pressure straight up to where it should be. No warning lights other than I haven't got my seatbelt on, or it could do with a bit of fuel. As you can see, the car is stone cold. Oil and water temperature all the way down. Nothing nasty other than a bit of condensation coming out of the exhaust. Like I say, it's very steamy in here today. And the engine, I shut up for a second. Idles beautifully, there's no metallic clicking or anything like that. If somebody hadn't told you, you wouldn't know. And then we'll hit that button and drop the roof, which on these is nice and quick. You don't have to do the manual latch like you do on a 996. Straight down. Nice and smooth. Job done. And if you look across the top there, again, that's all in the same condition as you'd expect as the rest of the car. So there you have it, 2006 on an 06 Carrera 4 manual Cabriolet. Any more questions, please get in touch. Thank you.